Greetings, everyone. Welcome. This is for financial algebra. I'd like to go over how progressive taxes work. So in the United States, we use a progressive tax system, which means that as your income increases, the tax bracket that you are taxed at can also increase. So they're incremental tax brackets. And so I'm going to go through an example with you guys to show you how progressive taxes work here. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my docu-camera here. And let's zoom this in here so you can see it better. Okay, so I've created an example. It says, how much tax would a person that makes $53,000? Okay, so, and I've also included some tax brackets here at the bottom. And so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how much this individual would pay in terms of their taxes. Okay, so the first, we're going to break apart this 53,000. And so the first value is from 0 to 10,000. And at that point, they're going to pay 10%. So if we take 10,000 in our calculator and we multiply that by 0.01, that is going to tell us our, whoops, no, that's 1%. So 10,000 times 0.1. So that's going to tell us our tax. So in the first amount, we're going to pay $1,000. Okay. Then we have a second. So from 20,000 to 35,000, we're paying 15%. So I'm going to write that down. So from 10,001 to 35,000. Okay. So now here's the trick here, guys. We have to subtract. We have to take 35,000 and we have to subtract the 10,001. Okay. So this amount is going to be for 24,999. And then we can take that amount and multiply it by 0.15, which is 15%. Okay. So that is going to be equal to $3,749.85. Okay. Now the next bracket goes from 35,001 to 50,000. Okay. So in this case, we're going to go 35,001 to 50,000. Okay. So we need to know that amount. So again, that amount is we're going to subtract those figures. So I'm going to take 50,000 minus 35,001. So that's 14,999. Okay. And if we multiply that by 25%, oops. What do we do here? So 14,999 times 0.25 is equal to 3749.75. So almost the same as the previous bracket. Okay, and then the last bracket, it goes from 50,001 to 80,000. Now our top of our pay scale only goes 53,000. That's how much our income is. So we can subtract that from 50,001 and then figure out what that value would be. So if we take 53,000, whoops, minus 50,000, whoops, 50,001. So that's, we're only being taxed at that rate on $2,999 of our income. And so we can take that amount and multiply it by 0.3. And so that's $899.70. And the last thing to do then is to add these figures all together. So we need to add these together, and that will tell us the total income tax that we owe based on this progressive system. So let's add these together. So 1,000 plus $3,749.85 plus $3,749 $899.75 plus $899.70. So if I add those all together, I'm going to end up with $9,399.30 being owed on my 53,000 income. All right, so actually this is pretty accurate. It's not completely aligned with the IRS brackets, but it does give you an idea of how to find the total income tax owed if we have a progressive system. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. Bye-bye.